Hello everyone, I'm joined here by Miss Surya Kumari. Thank you so much, ma'am, for joining us today at CyBe. I wanted to start off by asking you more about generative AI. It is something that has been in the industry for quite some time now, but not everyone understands how it exactly works, or moreover, does not understand the threats that could arise from it. So, if you could help shed some light on this matter.
Sure, yeah. First, let me introduce myself. So, I'm Surya Kumari, and I have, I think, around 2 decades of experience working in architecture and cybersecurity, and now moved into Gen AI. So, with the Gen AI, I have established the Gen AI COE in our organization. So, this by establishing in the sense, so it is from forming the team and identifying what are the security risks that comes with Gen AI, and it's a security risk. When I say it is all through the humans that are bringing in the risk, through the tech and through the use cases, and also at the enterprise level, what are the risks that might come up. Okay, so specifically I would like to more concentrate on the human side of it. So we say the human in the loop is always required. So what does it exactly mean? Because the Gen AI, we are saying that it should be autonomously doing everything with the multi agents that are coming up, right? So when the autonomously, if you are looking at that, means without any human intervention, it has to take its own decisions and then looping through and correcting itself, and see the goal will be decided initially, goal will be given to it, and it'll the LLM, whatever are the models which is executing that process, it'll every time check itself. Okay, like how the human thinks. Okay, when we are going heading towards one direction, we see, right, okay, am I going in the right direction? We'll assess ourselves and we try to regenerate, or maybe we will try to re-emphasize that we are going in a right direction. Same way, the LLMs also, or the models also does the re-emphasizing or reinforcement, what we say, and they do learn from whatever their mistakes are, and they try to correct themselves, and ideally they will be trying to reach towards the goal which has been set initially. Okay, so this is how the actual journey goes in. So while going in this autonomously, sometimes or most of the times, because it's a machine, it may not be able to think exactly how humans are thinking, right?
Of course, yes.
And on the risks also, it may not be that risk aware or from the humans, because we know the domain maybe from our lifetime. Okay, and this has been a little more than 2 3 years, so it might not have learned whatever the risk awareness which humans has.
Of course,
And
yes.
humans are like, maybe in millions of seconds we can take the decisions and thinking process that happens. So the same process might be there, but it is limited with the data it was
It was
tuned
fed,
to, right?
yes.
So that is where the human in the loop is always required. And the humans, and if it is not added, the human in the loop is not added, they might be fatal risks at times. Okay, if it is used in healthcare and all, or maybe if it is used in the gaming industry also. So we always have a referee or a coach, even though we have a team who is working, who is going towards the goal of getting the what is the goal to, I mean,
To the other side of the coin,
yeah.
yes.
So in the similar way, kind of a referee, human should be added over there to take these risks out of the autonomicity that LLMs can have. And the risk that comes in from the models is, most of the times if they have to execute autonomously, we might be giving high powers to them. Okay, when I say high power, is like giving the service access and all those. So those access at every integration point, they may not be able to revisitize, or maybe those powers are not destructed over once that task is done. they might carry it forward. So once if the power is there in the wrong hands, you know what happens, right?
The
So
authorization should actually be removed
yeah,
immediately after.
at every integration point or every point of the task completion, that authorization and authentication has to be removed, and all that need to be shredded out, and new process has to start out. So that is how we need to, I mean, the risk is there. That is how we need to mitigate the risk as well.
Definitely. So, this was a very interesting concept that comes from the technology end. But there is a certain level of internal threat that also comes when with the use of Gen AI.
Yes.
And this usually means that organizations are constantly at threat with their sensitive data, confidential data being sent out due to employees wanting to take shortcuts at certain times. So I wanted to understand your perspective on this. What kind of cyber awareness could actually help mitigate these kinds of incidents in an
Yeah,
organization?
thank you. I think that's a great question actually. So, and if anyone who is there in the cybersecurity process, okay, first one is the awareness, right? So all the employees need to be made aware of what are the threats that are going to come and how they have to mitigate those things. So that cybersecurity training we say, or training each and every employee on what are all the threats and mitigations that need to be taken. So, and this training should be a continuous process because this is an evolving technology, right?
Of
So, the
course.
process, it's not like earlier we used to have a process of the security training for 6 months, every 6 months you need to take. I believe it's at least quarterly, it should happen with the employees. And on top of it, we should have proper guardrails that have been identified and a governance framework that has been emphasized. Okay, so initially itself, we need to identify the governance framework and how we will be enabling those policies and procedures which might get into the internal risks. So that need to be identified because most of the times organizations they only think through the regulatory compliances which are external, right?
Of
So
course.
because we have to pay there, but here the risk inside the organization by the employees, maybe the employees they're not doing it intentionally, right? That is maybe out of curiosity or out of not knowing things that might come up. So every employee should be made aware of it. Everyone has to embrace it, the Gen AI. That's not a, I mean, it's not a new normal anything, right? It is the must and have technology for every employee in the organization. So what I'm emphasizing is to have a training, have a proper governance framework around it, and the policies and procedures need to be established as a standard guidelines, and the guardrails need to be there. Those guardrails need to automatically take care if an employee is trying to do something malicious. That should be automatically able to trigger at least, right? Or maybe instead of triggering it should ideally, because we have the LLMs now, it was earlier days where just alerting works. Now it is alerting and the action also has to happen,
Yes.
right? So that action also immediately or promptly just stop that user from doing that. Okay, and then probably the next how you mitigate or how you raise that query of or escalate it and those things that happens, right? So that's
Definitely.
how I believe we can control the internal threats.
That's actually quite a good point about raising cyber awareness. And of course, it is not limited to your team of cybersecurity experts or your team of IT experts, because usually these are the people who are very well versed with the technical background and the do's and don'ts of using Gen AI, especially in a
Yeah.
workplace environment. But when we talk about cybersecurity experts and their need to kind of upskill their career, I want to understand from you what is the kind of advice you would give them when it comes to upskilling, especially if they are women who want to go up to an executive leadership position.
Yeah, I think I see from this conference, I see a lot of women and folks are there in the cybersecurity, especially in the higher cadres. Okay, kudos that. But so coming back to what advice I can give is be self-aware of where we are today, and try to assess. Like always, push yourself 1% better than yesterday. Okay, that will ideally help us, because most of the time what we do is we will be confined to whatever domain we are in. Suppose in the cybersecurity itself, we have lots of domains, right? Instead of sticking to one domain, once we are going higher and higher, I believe that the whole enterprise wide how we can secure that awareness should come up. It's just not only the server side, or it's not only the hardware side, or it's not the physical security. When you combine it all, then it is a enterprise level security that
Of
comes up.
course,
So
yes.
just think about how we can be a world class enterprise security architect or security. Be an architect for yourself, for your career. So think through, and there are a lot of I say on the websites, and now ChatGPT also can help you how we can do the career roadmap for ourselves, right?
Of course, yes.
So go through that. Just ask, maybe every quarter or sometime, just reskill yourself and think, okay, today I'm here. Today, maybe for the next 3 months, how will I, what is the new skill I can upgrade to? So that is how probably it should be a continuous learning, and be 1% better yourself than the previous day. This is my motto, what I do every day, and I follow. I've been following it for at least through my career. So that's where I am with all the new technologies, where I'm today now.
Definitely, ma'am. That was quite insightful because, of course, the main thing that when people look at when they want to build up their career ladder usually is to not just better themselves, but actually to move further, more ahead than their colleagues. So it is a very positive outlook to have here that you need to be better than you yesterday.
Yes.
It's to take one step better, and your competition is you. So that is a very positive outlook, I feel. And thank you so much, ma'am, for sharing your expertise with us. It was truly a pleasure talking to you.